So I just wanted to share that as a father of young kids, how are you thinking about instilling and teaching them these principles now? Has it influenced your parenting? Is it something you actively think about? Because we always, I mean, no matter how good our upbringing is, no matter how wonderful our parents were, we're always trying to do something a little better. We're not our parents. We have our experiences.
I've been chewing on this a bit because my oldest just turned 6 and she just finished her first year of elementary school. And so we're going from just, actually Andy Stanley has a book about parenting. I don't know if you've ever read it before. I've actually only read half of it, but the half that I read was profound. And he classifies the years, he classifies these stages of parenting, right? And the 0 to 5 is the discipline years where you're just trying to teach them basic manners, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And it's 6 to, I can't remember how far it goes, but it calls them the training years. This is where you start trying to teach them the principles of life, right? And so I've very clearly moved into that with my oldest, who is now 6. We're in the training years. It's actually, I would say, the ultimate exercise in like, how well do I know these principles? Because I need to communicate them to a 6-year-old, right? And actually communicating things so simple that a 6-year-old can understand them is far more difficult than explaining them to someone who's in their 20s or 30s or 40s, who has the ability to unwind unclear communication and make sense of it, right? And so I've been trying to start small and simple, but there's 2 big things. One is try it. Try it. I don't care if you fail. And I've actually been working with my wife on this as well, because both of us were, in one way, shape, or form, we realized as kids, kind of told that we should stay inside of a box to some degree, right? In different ways from different people in our lives when we were kids. I got told to just go to school, get a degree, get a corporate job, and like contribute to retirement. And that was the safe way to live life. Everything else is too risky, right? I was a rebel, as you could tell from being in a metal band. And I was like, I'm going to do, and getting an accounting degree, but not becoming a CPA, and be like, I will not go do Big Four accounting. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. But what I learned was, if I read, if I put in the work to learn, and I surround myself with good people, and I follow, I believe, is God's calling, things work. They're not always the way that they're never the way you think they're going to work, but they work, and success comes, and you build. And I'm saying all this because I want to teach my kids, I want to teach my daughter at 6 years old, you don't know your way yet, and that's okay. I didn't figure out I was an entrepreneur until I was 25. And it took me till probably I was 30 to really believe that I was an entrepreneur. I started acting like one, but not really knowing what it meant. And then when I was 30, I was like, no, I am. And so try things and be willing to fail. And so a very tangible way I've been doing that with her is that she has these, in her kindergarten year, this last year, they have these sight word cards. It's 10 words that they need to learn to read by sight because they're hard to sound out. It was up to them on Fridays to bring them to the teacher and say, I'm ready for my test. The teacher would never, she'd say, who wants to come up and do the test? She doesn't force you to do it. You have to walk up there, but she give you the opportunity. And I would tell my daughter, are you ready to do your sight words? She's like, no, I'm scared. I'm like, just go do it. Just go do it. Walk up there. And if you miss one, it's okay. Come back and let's talk about which one you missed. And let's do it again. I will be proud of you for just trying. I don't care about the outcome. And so I think what I'm saying is I'm focusing on saying, I'm going to be proud of you for the effort, not for the outcome. Because I think, unfortunately, the school system grades kids on the outcome too much and doesn't realize an unintended consequence is they get afraid to try. They don't get rewarded for the effort. And so I'm trying to really focus on helping my kids be rewarded in our household for the effort, but there's always a conversation, hey, what did we learn? And that's the key.
I love that, John. You know, one of the things we do is we have a similar conversation about what happened this past weekend that you're grateful for. You know, I'm trying to instill that gratitude mindset that no matter what's going on, there is something there to be grateful for. I love the way you're thinking about this and approaching this with your daughter. And I think I've read that book from Andy Stanley, but I'm going to go reread it. I'm reminded my 13-year-old is playing 8th grade football this coming year, and he's so jazzed about it. And he's never been the one who would be the self-starter, wake up early, motivated to work out. But there's something that's a switch has flipped in his brain. And this past Saturday, I was so proud of him. This past Saturday, he's like, "Hey, would you work out with me?" And I said, "Yeah, buddy, I'll do it. Let's go." Because he'd set an alarm all, summertime, every afternoon at 3 the week before. And Saturday morning, we get into the gym, and for an hour and a half, we're working out together. And now, all it is me showing him, all right, here's the proper way to lift. Here is the principles that matter for doing this. So he worked his tail off. Then we go out in the yard. We do yard work for 2 hours. And then we come in and I teach him how to smoke wings. And he's doing all the work. And then as he's headed to bed Saturday night, I give him a hug, tell him I love him. And he goes, "Dad, today was an awesome day." And all he did was get his butt kicked in the gym, and he worked out and do yard work and, have to cook and clean. But it was an awesome day. And I was like, wow, okay, this is a dad moment. This is a cool thing.
Yeah.
I managed not to screw this one up. One thing you mentioned a minute ago when you're talking about teaching kids and having to simplify and distill, and we see this in leadership, in business, and everything else. It's often, and it's almost always not the words. It's our own parental behaviors. And man, I will give it to kids. They will call you on your disconnect quicker than anything. But you didn't do that, Dad. But you said I couldn't, but you're doing it this way. So, man, they're good at wake up calls.